and I'm freaking out at the end of it. And Nick just comes and takes the mic back, and I hear AJ say faintly, like, that was some sick singing.
Amanda, welcome to Real Talk with Star Scorpio. How you doing today?
So happy to be here. So happy to be here. I'm doing well. It's a good day. It's a sunny day. Hot
Yeah.
day in Toronto.
Yeah, we're
So
both in Toronto.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Amanda, before we get into this timeline, I got to tell you, I'm so happy I found you on Instagram. And the way I found you, though, is through, I did comedy for 8 years, and I interviewed my fellow comedian, Patrick Hay.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was interviewing him, I was doing my editing and I was going to his page a couple of times, and then I seen your link there, or he was following you, and I clicked on it. I was so happy that I clicked on it because it only took one cover song for me to say, hey, would you like to be on my podcast?
That's so sweet.
But I think you didn't see it for a while. I don't know. And then
You know what it is? You know what it is? I'm bad with the Instagram, the
yeah.
DMs, the direct messages. They don't always pop up for me. But it's so funny you said Patrick, because I was just thinking about him today.
Mhm.
Because I meant to go to one of his comedy shows
Okay.
and I wasn't able to make it. So it's so funny because he came up in my thoughts today. So
Wow.
it's funny how everything comes full circle. But he's great. He's a really funny guy. So talented. So there you go. I guess
Yes.
shout outs to Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Patrick.
Yeah.
The universe works in mysterious ways sometimes.
Absolutely, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, so Amanda Edwards, you're a singer, songwriter, recording artist, and you give me chills when I hear your voice. I got to
Oh,
tell you.
so sweet.
But
That's
yeah, go ahead.
no, that's awesome. That's to hear people say that, like, it just never gets old, you know. It just
Mhm.
reminds me of why I love doing what I do. So I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, of course. You'll never get tired of it, right? I'm sure you hear it a lot, but I had to say it because I know you probably hear it, but I had to say it for myself too. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's amazing. No, it never gets old because every person is a unique individual and has such a different experience with not just my music, but music in general, life in general. And so um, each time someone, you know, has their take on it, it's so different, and
Yeah.
so it's a very cool experience.
Nice, nice. Okay, let's get into this. Let's get this timeline going.
Mhm.
So I always like to know, where were you born and raised?
So I was born in New Delhi, India,
Oh,
actually. I was
okay.
born in India and we moved to Toronto when I was 4.
Okay.
So I'm very Canadian now,
Yeah.
as you can see, but I still remember little bits of it. But yeah, that was many, many years ago.
Yeah. Have you been back home?
You know, I haven't been back since.
What?
And I think one of the reasons is the family's all here now.
Okay.
A lot of them are in the States. And I think that if I didn't live in Toronto, which is such a multicultural city,
Mhm.
which has the most authentic food that you can get outside of, being anywhere else in the world, then maybe. But I've been able to sort of just enjoy the food here, and my family's here. So no, I haven't been back. I feel like I would go back one
Yeah.
day on a spiritual trip, maybe.
Okay.
Um, that would be something I'd love to do and just sort of connect with my roots that way. But no, it hasn't happened yet.
Wow. But your parents, they've been back, right? They've been back.
My dad's been back. My dad's been back for some business and a little bit of leisure, but no, we're very just Canadian now.
Okay.
It's kind of boring, I guess.
Yeah. And what about siblings? Do you have older or younger
I
siblings?
don't have any siblings. I am an only child. Yeah, I
Wow.
know.
Just like my daughter.
Just like,
Yeah.
yeah, just me.
Just
So
you.
that's been interesting in life for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have the
But my
support.
my my parents are kind of like my brother and sister, I think, because there's no one else. I just relate to them in that way.
Yeah.
And I think in my experience being an only child, the friends that I choose in my life are very much like my siblings. Like I really want that closeness and that loyalty with the people that I choose to surround myself with. So, the phrase that you make your own family,
Yeah.
and I've sort of done that.
Wow, that's amazing. My daughter, 24 years old, going on 25 next year. She's only child as well. And just like you said, like we're her like best friends, you know what I mean? My
Yeah.
wife and I,
Yeah.
and we have such a good bond. But I'm telling you, when we were younger, my wife and I, she had a couple medical issues where she couldn't have um more kids.
Mm,
So it was a struggle. Because my daughter's friends had brothers and sisters
yeah.
and she didn't, but that's why I think our bond is so close now. So I don't know if the same thing is rings true for you, where it's like maybe you wanted when you were younger, but you value what you have.
Absolutely. And she's probably super mature, isn't she,
Oh,
for her age?
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
big time, big
Yeah.
time.
Because of that influence with you. So it's no, it's not all bad. It shapes you into a different kind of person. But at this point I wouldn't have it any other way. I would love, more family, but it's made me who I am today. So
Yeah,
I feel blessed for that.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I'd like to ask about too is school. I gotta understand my guest because were you good in the sciences, the maths, the arts, anything with education? Because sometimes it leads to the path where you are today, but I want to know if that had any influence on it, where you are, because I know you have a career, but the singing, songwriting, man, that's like your passion. But how were you in school?
I was good in school. They put me in the gifted program.
Oh,
Actually, when I was 7, believe it or not, I think I was
okay.
in grade 1 or 2. They said, "Okay, you're not going to do school today
Okay.
for 4 or 5 hours or something." They like put me in a room and had me do all these puzzles. So what the
What?
heck am I doing here? But I
Yeah.
was such a nerd. I was like, "This is fun. This is great." Um, they said, "We think that you shouldn't be in the grade that you are right now. You're a little too advanced. You're not being challenged." So I did all these puzzles and these mazes and things like that. And they said, "Yeah, we want to take you out of the school and
Mm.
put you in this gifted program. But you decide." And I'm 7, so I didn't want to leave my friends, and I was like, no, why would I do that? So I stayed, and
Okay.
then I think in grade 1 they had me do the grade 2 work anyways, and then it was a junior school, so after grade 5 my parents just said, listen, you're gonna have to change schools anyway, so why don't you try this gifted thing? And
Okay.
so in grade 6 then I eventually did it. um and then I did that, and I finished high school and went to a specific high school for that as well too. But I would say math, I was pretty good at math. I always loved to sing and perform and get that
Yeah.
attention, because that was
Yeah.
in me since I was a toddler. I think I started singing before I could talk, maybe. But um so there was always an element of that. But yeah, I was always just kind of, I don't know if it comes from being an only child and that, but just the street smart,
Yeah.
was always there. So yeah, I'm still kind of a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Send me a riddle, I'm very happy, that kind of thing.
Oh,
So
for real? Wait, you know what you just said that since you were a child, you were singing. So
yeah.
what I want to know is when did you find your voice? Because some people tell me they found their voice at church.
Mm,
Tari Torre, who I interviewed, she said that she found her voice in the shower. And
mm.
I like to ask that question. So where did you find your voice? When did you start singing?
Oh my gosh. It was in India for sure. I'm
Okay.
trying to think. I was probably like 2 years old,
Wow.
and we have pictures, not videos necessarily, but pictures. I would dress up as Stevie Wonder,
Okay.
like put on the glasses, and I had the guitar, and I would sing Stevie Wonder songs when I was like 2.
Wow.
And they had to play, I remember, I Just Called to Say I Love You.
Love
It
you.
had to be on loop before I would go to sleep. Like I would just go to sleep listening to that song over and over again. And so I remember, because my dad is a musician, so let's, not forget to mention that. So there was always music around me growing up.
Hmm.
So that's the first I can remember that I really got into it.
Yeah.
Um, and then when we moved to Toronto, it was just always in my life. I'm going to show my age now, but I used
Okay.
to watch the cartoon Gem and the Holograms when I first
Oh
came
my
here. I don't know
God.
if you remember Gem.
You're going back in the days.
Going
I
back
know.
in the day, that was on TV
Yeah.
quite a bit on YTV here, I
Yeah.
remember. And I just said, I want to be her. And they did a very good job with that show. It was to promote the dolls, like the Hasbro
Yeah.
dolls, but the music, you know, they had short songs in it, which were very catchy and very well written. And you know, the fashion and the fame and everything. And I just, so it was Gem. And I would,
Yeah.
you know, that was just me with some kind of microphone that I would fashion at home. And I was singing Gem. And then in school, they noticed that I could sing because we had a choir.
Yeah.
And I remember just hearing Mariah Carey for the first time
Hmm.
and just singing all of her songs. And someone picked up on it at school and they said, she can sing. Like, we should put her in the front. We're gonna do this song.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I could never really run away from it. It's sort of in my DNA, like the same as speaking, walking, you know.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. You just made me, I got to touch on two questions. One about Mariah, but your
Yeah.
dad, though, you said your
Mm.
dad is a musician. So what kind of music was in the household growing up?
So my dad actually had, oh, he's gonna kill me for not remembering how many pieces his band was, like a 9-piece band, I want to say.
Okay.
And it was in India, and it was called the Malcolm Edwards Show Band.
Okay.
And from what he tells me, they were like the Beatles, like all the girls loved them, and they would perform at quite a number of venues back in the day in India.
Hmm.
Like Ashoka Hotel was one of them, from what I can remember, he said. And so they would do everything from the Beatles, Elvis Presley songs, 50s, 60s music, like very modern stuff.
Hmm.
Tom Jones,
Oh,
Engelbert
yeah.
Humperdinck is
Yeah.
someone he
Oh,
really liked.
oh,
Yep.
oh, you know everybody.
I do. I do. And
Oh,
I love that I have such a breadth of music because of him, because I just
right.
listened to all this stuff growing up. And
Mhm.
he still performs to this day. You know, he's at pubs and restaurants, and he's out in Pickering every weekend. And so he still does it to this day
That's amazing.
because he loves it so much.
Yeah.
And he's amazing. So anytime I can go out and hear him, you know, I'll go up and do a couple songs, but
Oh, man.
it's in his bones as well, too, very much so.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
so amazing to hear. So now you know what I'm going to touch on now because you mentioned Mariah.
Hmm.
So I posted a story on my Instagram page the other day, and I was wanting my followers to let me know what they think, Mariah or Whitney Houston. Who's the
Ooh.
GOAT? Who's the greatest of all time?
I mean, you can't ask that question. You know, I feel like that is a tough one. I will say I grew up listening to Mariah, so she was my inspiration in a lot of ways.
Okay.
And I can't say enough good things about her. And then actually only lately have I started listening to Whitney. I
Okay.
think it was because when I was younger, I just figured I couldn't sing those songs. And now that I've been listening to her a little bit more now, I realize I can sing those songs. And I don't know if it has just come with experience and growth as a musician, but I don't know if I can pick. I don't know if I can pick. They're just so different. And I think it's a preference thing, and artists bring so many different attributes to the table. So I don't know. I can't pick. Like, I would be evenly split between the two. They're both fantastic in their own way. The
Mhm.
duet they did together was just, you know, amazing.
Mhm.
Prince of Egypt soundtrack,
Okay.
which was just so I feel like more artists should do that more, like the collaboration,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
like what Mars is doing right now with Anderson Paak and Silk Sonic. Like, that's just the beauty of music, is when you bring all this talent to the table and put it all together,
Mhm.
it makes something great. So I'm just not going to choose. No,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I can't choose. I can't choose. I mean, and maybe I would give my girl Mariah a slight edge just because that was my inspiration growing up. So personally, for me, she's been a big impact in my life. But that's why
Yeah.
I would give her the slight edge. But no, I mean, they're both incredible.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Celine Dion. I think she's very
Oh, you
much
got to put her in there.
overlooked. You know,
Yeah.
her voice is, you can't help but get the tingles when you listen to Celine. So I think she's very overlooked and overrated as well.
Yeah. You're right about that. Um, with Mariah, I remember because I'm 49 and I grew up with Whitney
You don't look
first.
49, first of
Oh,
all. You're
thank you.
looking
Thank you.
good, Peter. Doing
Thank you.
something right.
It's the family. It's the family.
Yes.
Um, but I remember when Mariah came out and it was Vision of Love is the first
Mm.
song. And it's like one of those songs I just played over and over again. You know what I mean? But kudos to them both.
Yeah. For me, it was Hero. That was my
Oh,
sort of
okay.
generation. Yeah. So when I heard
Yeah.
that song, I went, who the heck is this?
Yeah.
And it's been a song that I've carried through with me throughout my life. And it's something I perform a lot and sing a lot. And it's cool because it was the first sort of grown up song that I listened to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's just it's such a beautiful message too. So that was it for me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I see that you do a lot of covers, right? Do do any artists um make you afraid to touch it? Because there's certain how do you say it, man? Levels of your voice that you have to reach. Like certain people wouldn't say, "Oh, I can't do this artist or I can't do that artist," because of the pitch or I'm not musical, but I'm trying to understand the words to use.
Hmm.
Because they can hit notes where I can't reach. But I heard you do covers from Brian McKnight.
Brian McKnight. Yeah.
I heard Bruno Mars.
Hmm.
I've heard countless others. And I'm like, amazing. Everyone sounds amazing. Is there any artist where you don't want to touch or you just want to try out? What's your take on that?
No, I feel like, listen, if I can't sing it, I won't record it. If I'm not
Okay.
hitting the notes and it's just not for my voice, because not every song is for your voice. And that's one thing I learned, one of the most powerful pieces of advice that someone gave me was that not every song fits your voice.
Right.
And so even certain artists, certain songs are just, they're not for me. I remember when I started doing Ariana Grande covers, I was like, what am I
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I find the ones that, I'm comfortable with, and it's always my own take on it. And
Mhm.
as much as I even try and sometimes make it sound like the original, I find that it always still sounds like me, which is great.
Yeah.
Um, because I think covers that where you change it up a little bit, either you slow down a fast song or you turn a fast song into a ballad. I think that makes it so interesting. And so I try
Right.
and put a little variety on each cover that I do anyways. So no, I think the answer is no. It's just if I feel good doing it, then I'm gonna put it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to know too then, where do you draw inspiration from? Some people say your creative process. What's your creative process? But for me, because besides comedy, I did poetry, and sometimes it's a relationship that would inspire me to write something, or you just get a feeling, an overwhelming feeling, because I don't know if it's because I'm a Scorpio, but sometimes I get overwhelming emotions, and now I post something when I feel it, and it just comes natural to me. But what inspires you to write some of the songs that you write?
Yeah, life. I think you touched on it. Like I think it's such an amazing outlet. It's kind of therapy in a way.
Hmm.
Especially the very low lows, I find.
Yeah.
It's a great time to write and just get it all out.
Mhm.
And then in contrast to that, um, the really big highs and those moments that you just don't want to forget.
Yeah.
And for me, it's putting it into history so that I can remember to be grateful for something that happened. Because I think that we a lot of the time just focus on the negatives in life.
Yeah.
And when something great happens, it's like, okay, that's a relief instead of, this is a blessing and this is something to really um carry with you. And so for me, it's yes, it's therapy.
Yeah.
So that I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So of course I can't forget this. You're playing the keyboard.
The
What?
keyboard, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
right there.
did you grow up playing the piano as a kid too? Like, did your parents put you into piano lessons, all that stuff
Yeah,
first?
I was lucky enough that my dad just put me into it.
Hmm.
And now I kind of say I would love to have learned guitar as well. I
Oh.
can play. I've taught myself chords,
Hmm.
just because it's so much more portable. Like you can take a
Yeah. Oh.
guitar with you
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
So I can play. Like I've sort of taught myself, and I can do that. And it's never too late. I may take some guitar lessons as well too. But piano is such a beautiful instrument. You can
Yeah.
do so much with it. The harmonies, just the beautiful chords that you can get. And so I'm glad that my dad, I think I was 6 or 7 once I
Hmm.
started playing piano. And then in middle school, saxophone, alto sax was something I did
Oh yeah.
up
Wow.
until the end of high school. So I was in stage band for all those who know that term, like it just means jazz band.
Yeah.
And so that was really challenging because we would do old jazz songs and I would attempt those crazy solos and everything. So jazz is a genre that I really enjoyed during my saxophone phase, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your genre of music that you really love right now?
Oh man.
Like your go-to music?
I always say I'm a pop girl.
Okay.
I love a good pop song, I tell
Mhm.
you. And you know, some of the artists that I listen to now, pop R&B, I would say.
Mhm.
Um, I've been saying lately that Bruno Mars is my favorite diva at the
Yeah.
moment because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
overrated. His voice is incredible.
Yeah.
Um, I grew up listening to the Backstreet Boys, was just obsessed. Uh, got the opportunity to like sing with them randomly at one of their shows at Soundcheck. I don't know if
Whoa,
I've put the YouTube
whoa,
video
whoa,
back up because it was very embarrassing. I look like a
whoa,
I'm
whoa. Are you
just freaking
serious?
out.
Yeah.
It's a story. It's a story, but it was one of these recurring dreams that I had
Mhm.
that I would sing this one, I would meet them and sing this one song a cappella with them. And it was
Okay.
off their first album, Just to Be Close to You.
Okay.
Such an amazing a cappella song. And I remember, I think this was like 2012. Gosh, I think it was like 10 years ago.
Okay.
This new thing had started with concerts where you could pay
Okay.
to like get a photo op with the band and do like a meet and greet, like a quick thing. And it was very new. And I'm like, oh my God, I can actually meet the Backstreet Boys. This is crazy. Now
Yeah.
it's more of a thing now. So I did it, I paid and we got a photo and it was very, very cute. And then at sound check, they let like a few of us, there was maybe 200 girls there, I would say. A few of us ask a question. And in that moment,
Yeah.
because Nick chose me for the question,
What?
I was like, I don't know, something just came over me. I'm like, oh my God, this is
Mhm.
my opportunity. And I was like, do you remember the song Just to Be Close to You? And he thought I was asking for like a request for them to sing. And he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he started taking the mic back. I was like, no, 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 I want to sing it with you. Like,
Okay.
can I start? Can I start? He's like, yeah, you start. And he went to another mic and I started singing the song
Okay.
and the others all just joined in.
Wow.
And I was like, what is happening right now? And it was it was just before our phones were cameras.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
had this little Canon camera with me to like capture the day. I was like, holy crap, I gotta start recording this.
Yeah.
So I have like the mic in one hand and my camera in the other hand.
Yeah.
Somehow I managed to get most of it. And like other people got it and they posted other clips to YouTube. Um, and I'm freaking out at the end of it. And Nick just comes and takes the mic back. And I hear AJ say faintly, like, that was some sick singing, like
Wow.
surprisingly good. And I'm like, what just happened? And so I think I've like posted it to YouTube and then like made it private because I'm so embarrassed.
No.
I may
No.
have to post it again just so
You
people can watch it. But
have
it was
to.
a great day. And then I met like Jesse McCartney later
Mhm.
at their like after party because he was their opening act and like I chatted with him a little bit about being a musician. And so that was the best day of my life. Um, but yeah, to answer your question, I'm a pop girl. You know, I'm
Yeah.
all about the pop music.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
glad you rolled into that story because these are the things I like to hear.
Yeah.
You have any other stories like that? Like
Oh
with
God.
artists that we know that you
God, I wish I did. I mean, I feel like I've met a lot of celebrities in my life, like just randomly.
Mhm.
But no artists in terms of music.
Okay.
Um, I always find myself singing somewhere though. Like it's really hard for me to go watch live music because I'm so jealous. Like I just want to be up there. Like
Yeah.
it's not even a jealousy thing. It's just like my soul wants to be up there singing.
Yeah.
So I will always ask, like if we're watching a jazz band or if there's live music anywhere. Like I was in New Orleans, which amazing
Yeah.
city for music.
Right.
I was up there every night. I was singing something. So in
Wow.
that regard, it's always my go-to. Like it's always where my soul wants to go. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be hopefully more stories in life, but yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. This is what I like to hear. Um, you know, this wasn't even one of the questions, but you're touching on that. You know, when American Idol, even Canadian Idol came around and things like that, have you ever wanted to get on a show like that to pop off And I remember they had another one in the States. But I actually met Toy Alexis. I don't know if you know that
Oh,
name.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when I was doing comedy, I met a lot of people, Julie Black, Toy Alexis.
Yes,
And
yes.
Toy Alexis, I actually want to have her on the show, but she was in Canadian Idol, as you know. But have you ever attempted to do one of those things or wanted to do one of those shows?
So I auditioned twice for Canadian Idol. The
What?
first time I was still in high school,
Mhm.
and so I didn't make it to the TV round.
Okay.
And but the second time I did, but then I got cut pretty early. So I
Mhm.
remember Farley Flex liked me. He said yes for me. So
Really?
Farley, if you're listening or watching, thanks for that. It was it was Zach Brown, I think. Can't remember if that's his name. Um, who just wasn't a fan.
Mm.
But no, listen, you can't be for everybody. But yeah, no, I definitely auditioned a couple of times. It's interesting because these shows, um, it's it is about the talent, but it's also about putting a show together and telling a story.
Right.
So I just kind of chalked it up as to, maybe I'm not interesting enough. But no, I was very hard on myself for a long time. I just said, I'm not good enough. I'm never going to make it.
Yeah.
But I'm proud that I went a couple times and I tried it and it was a great experience.
Oh, amazing. That's good. I think we only had 2 seasons in Canada, I think.
It was like
But
three or
it was
something.
three?
Yeah, it wasn't very much. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's so many more opportunities now in Canada. Like even um a comedian, like another comedian friend, Cedric Newman, that I performed with, the same circle, Patrick Hay, all of them. His son won Big Brother Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Tyshawn Carter Newman. But we got Big Brother Canada, Mason Race Canada. We need more singing shows now. You know what I mean?
I know, I
Mm.
know. I mean, there was Canada's Got Talent, and I think they're doing a second season.
Yeah.
It's my dad has this crazy idea. I don't know if we can even still apply. He's like, we should apply together.
Oh,
Maybe if there's like a story that we're like father and daughter, maybe we have a bigger chance of going on. So that's maybe, I don't know.
yeah.
If the deadline hasn't passed, then maybe we'll do that. That could be fun. But no, I agree. I
Hmm.
agree. There's so much talent in Canada, even just in Toronto. Like when I go and do these open mic nights, I just realize there's so much talent here that's
Yeah.
undiscovered. So come on, Canada.
Yeah.
We gotta get on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why too, even my podcast, I interview everybody, all professions, everything. I like to give a spotlight. Even though I'm a small channel now, my whole point is to grow and show people, share stories, and also donate to causes. So I'm trying to start a movement.
I see that. I really respect what you're doing because I know it's coming from your heart.
Hmm.
And I can tell that you're doing it for the right reason. So that's why I was very excited to chat with you today.
Yeah,
And yeah, just feel really excited to be part of what
I'm part
you're
of it.
doing. Big
Yes.
things.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Okay, so now you put out an album, I believe it was called Dreamcatcher, right?
Yes. You have
So
done your research. Yes.
yeah, I tried. But your first single, I want to know the writing, because I believe you wrote it with someone. The first
Hmm.
single, Dreams. I
Hmm.
like the words. I was listening to it back to back today, back to back,
Wow.
and I like the words. But can you tell me how that was written? Who wrote it with you, and just the whole process around that first single on that album?
Yeah. I really enjoyed recording that album, and I had the privilege of working with Kareem James,
Yes.
who is an amazing songwriter. He just writes poetry. He's just very good at, and it's so natural to him. You can write a song in 10 minutes if he wants to. He's in
Wow.
LA now. Shout out to Kareem. And so he had originally written that song as a demo
Hmm.
that was going to be pitched to artists in LA, like big time artists.
Okay.
And so I started doing demos with him.
Hmm.
I met him just, through the industry and through, auditioning for something else. And so we would do a lot of demos together. So it was very cool. I love recording. I love being in the booth. And so we would do demos for Britney Spears and for just the list goes on. And so to kind of alter my voice to kind of try and sound like what that sound would be for her is very cool. It's a lot of fun. So Dreams was written as a demo. And I said, I want that song
Yeah.
because I heard it and I fell in love with it. And the original style was a little bit different. And I just said, I need to have that song.
Wow.
And so obviously I sang it in the way that I would do it. So it turned into my version of what it was. But that was a demo that I just couldn't give up. I said, I want this for me.
Yeah.
And then we wrote a few more songs together, which are the other three songs on the album.
Hmm.
I think one of those also was supposed to be a demo, and then the other two were just written raw. And I have a fifth one that I actually haven't even put out yet, so I might. That's the goal, is to record that a little better, because it was more just rough when we did it years ago. So there's
Yeah.
one more from that sort of era coming, and then Ozzy, who produced a couple of the songs on that album. He also produced Who Let the Dogs Out. So
Okay.
he is an amazing producer and did a lot of the instrumental for Let Me Down, which is the ballad that I have on that album.
Hmm.
Such a nice guy. And so the two of them were really great to work with. I didn't sleep a lot that year.
Yeah.
It was working full time during the day and
Hmm.
then recording at night. But it
Hmm.
was an amazing project, and I can't wait to do another little EP again soon. So
Nice. I actually wanna, when I put this up, I'm gonna link to your YouTube page too, right? So people can see the album, hear it, and listen to it. But I thought you
yeah,
wanted to put out a video for Dreams.
I
You
did
t-
want to put out a video for Dreams. This is a very long story.
yeah.
Um, I'm a perfectionist, and I just
Okay.
couldn't. I shot it twice. I shot a video twice,
Okay.
a music video for Dreams, and it just wasn't Dreams. Like, it wasn't the vision that I wanted it to be. So I didn't want to just put out something for the sake of putting something out. And I said, when the time is right and I meet the right person that's going to do this video for me, I will do it. So that's still to come.
Right. Okay.
And it's interesting. I might not do like a very sappy video. I almost thought it would be a cool juxtaposition to do something where it's sort of dark and twisted in a little bit of a way,
Yeah.
just to add more depth to the words and what the story could be. So yeah, I've had a few ideas for it, but you have done your research. How did you even know that? I don't even know where you would have found that out. That's great.
No, I'm watching you on Instagram now. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I'm trying. You know what I try and do? I try and learn about my guest as much as I can, but I also want them to share their story. So I don't want to do too much research. I
Yeah.
want to bring it out with the questioning, but I need to understand a little bit about my guest. And that was one of the things that I saw. She's supposed to put a video out for this one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. Good. Good. Good research.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Okay.
a show called Hot Ones on YouTube. I don't know if you know this. You
Hold
know
on.
this.
Hold on. No, it's too far. I'm not going to get it. No, I have to get it.
Go get it. Go get it. Oh, there it is. Yep. See, I knew we were kindred spirits.
Oh my God. Before you tell your story, my birthday just passed November 2nd,
Oh,
right?
happy
Thank
birthday.
you.
That's my
Thank you.
uncle's birthday too.
Are you serious? November 2nd?
Yes,
Now, there's about
yes.
6 people I know with my same birthday. It's so crazy.
Oh,
But just a quick thing. My daughter, who's in Guelph at school,
mm-hmm,
she came home for the weekend
mm-hmm,
and she got me this present. It came delivery. I couldn't open it. I had to wait till she got home.
mm-hmm.
So yesterday I was on the couch. My daughter said, okay, close your eyes. Time to open your gift. And they know I'm a fan of Hot Ones, right? So once I opened it, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know what I mean? And
They knew.
again, there's a connection with us. So
Yes, yes,
crazy.
there's a connection. So a couple things. I
Mhm.
did the Kevin Hart lineup
Okay.
because I'm obsessed with the show. I love hot sauce, like, way too much. Like, everyone has to tell me to stop eating
Oh
spicy
my,
food because I'm going to get an ulcer, because I love it so much.
yeah.
So I did the Kevin Hart lineup, and this was, I think, from season 3,
Mhm.
because that was my favorite episode. It was just, if you haven't, well, I'm sure you've
I
seen
saw
it.
it. I saw it.
It was the best.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was an experience. So I have them all. I have all the hot sauces in my cupboard, and the bomb is
The
no
bomb.
joke. I don't know if you've tried it yet.
No, 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 no. I'm
Oh,
afraid. I'm
you got to
afraid.
try it. You got to try it. You know what? We will, if you want, we can do this. I did the lineup. We recorded it at home, but I didn't like, I didn't put it out or anything like that. But
Yeah.
you have the sauces now. So I'm offering, we can record it and everything. We can do a Hot Ones thing. We
Okay,
should have been
okay.
doing it right now, really.
Okay,
But
you have to stop. Amanda, you got to stop. Check this out now. I tell you, I feel like things happen for a reason in life and people connect at the right times. So when they gave me this, I'm already thinking I want to film an episode. So we're actually going to film an episode. My wife, my daughter, and her boyfriend, and we're
yeah,
going to do a Hot Ones, but I got to figure out the
amazing.
camera and the lighting. But I was like, I might put it on Instagram. Who wants to do an episode with me? And now I
I'm
think
down.
I know. I think you and I are going to film an episode of Hot Ones. I have season 19 sauces though.
Wow, I can't believe it's 19 seasons.
Yeah.
I have to catch up a little bit. You just better make sure Sean Evans, like, there's no copyright. You know
No,
what
I
I
know.
mean?
I know. I
I'm not
know.
trying to get sued.
Yeah.
But no, the reason I said Hot Ones is because
Yes.
like he does so much research, like his interview questions, so many guests comment on the fact that he's so well prepared
Oh
and
man.
his research team is amazing. So it just reminded me of that you've been so prepared for this chat today. So I'm just very impressed. But that's what it reminded me of. And now we got into
Yeah, we
to
got
all of this. So
yeah.
there you go. It's meant to be.
First of all, thank you for that. Because people don't know this, but I feel like I'm dyslexic, but I was never diagnosed because I mix up my words. I hate reading. I told my last guest, Ario, this. I hated reading as a kid, especially when you're in the classroom and they pick on you. Like you're down the next line and you're seeing what you have to read and things like that, the next paragraph. I hated reading. I always mixed up my words, mix up numbers and stuff. So when I prepare for interviews, I just like when I did comedy, I recite my act over and over and over again until I got
Mm,
it right.
mm.
And it really bothers me because sometimes I hear people speak like you speak well. And I know I shouldn't be like this, but you get kind of envious, like, wow, I wish I could speak well like this person. And people are like, oh, you're fine, you're fine. But I'm thinking about myself. I'm very hard on myself. But I'm glad you said that to me because it makes me feel good that people are seeing something that I want them to see.
Let me tell you something. First of all, you speak very well.
Mhm.
And secondly, myself, like only until recently and still, while I can perform on a stage and sing in front of thousands of people,
Mhm.
there's something where I get uncomfortable when I'm talking about myself.
Okay.
I still have that, to give a speech, I'm in sales and like I'm definitely not a shy person,
Mhm.
but talking about myself is always, I get a little, so coming from someone like me, like trust me, this is even this is tough.
Yeah.
But you make me feel very comfortable. So yeah, I'm having a fun time. But yeah, it's tough for me too, believe it or not.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
This is good. Great conversation. And you brought up Sean Evans because, yeah, he's one of my inspirations. How we ask the
Hmm.
questions, like amazing. But there's also a guy named Nardwar.
Okay.
He interviews hip hop rap artists,
Mm,
and this guy goes deep and
yeah.
he shocks some of these people. I'm talking about famous hip hop artists, and he's just a guy he dresses kind of odd, but if you ever type in Nardwar, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
He interviewed everybody and anyone, and he asked questions from high school. I don't know how he gets the information. So in high school, I heard you were
Wow.
this when you did this album, and sometimes he pulls out albums from back in the days, like
Wow.
when you did, and they're like impressed. So
Wow.
yeah, I got inspiration from a lot of podcast hosts and just interviews in the past too.
You're making me want to start a podcast. Like this is so much fun. You know
It
what I
is,
mean?
it is. But I would, because I want to do this episode with you. We're gonna do
Yes.
hot ones, but we
Yes,
have
we
to
are.
match up. We don't have to do 10. If there's
No, we don't have to do 10.
yeah, if there's
Yeah,
similar
yeah.
ones, we'll use the same
Because you
hot
don't want to
sauces.
do like you don't want to do the boring ones. You just
Yeah.
skip to the good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
So we'll
yeah,
match
so
up sauces and then we'll figure it. We'll do it. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course
yeah.
I'm gonna invite you back and we're gonna
Yes.
do it again. But
Hmm.
what I want to know too is current projects. So let the people know what you're working on now then too.
So I'm pretty active on Instagram. I should post more than I do. I know. Amanda Edwards Music
Right.
is my Instagram. And then I have a YouTube channel as well. So there's some actually a really fun cover song that's on there, and we shot it when we were recording it in the booth. It's the Christina Aguilera Blake Shelton duet,
Okay.
Just a Fool,
Okay.
with my friend Craig, and we did that. And that's a favorite. So that's, if you want to check that out on YouTube, that was, I want to do that again, which would be great. Who doesn't love a duet? But I'm recording now, currently writing music, recording. I do open mics from time to time in downtown Toronto. So I'll post more of when I'm going to do the open mics on my Instagram.
Yeah, perfect.
But I would say those two places are the spots to get, updates on me. And then, yeah, just new music coming out soon. So stay tuned.
Nice to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so speaking of performances and stuff, was there something you're on a showcase? The shot, I don't know, the shot. I was looking at some post that you had on
Oh
Instagram.
my goodness, yes. I'm always doing something or another. I was the shot was a competition that was started sort of locally here
Okay.
in Ontario, and a lot of people came out for it. And then it turned virtual, of course, in the pandemic. But that was something I dabbled in as well too, and that was more so gave me the experience of just putting an EPK together, like an electronic press kit for myself,
Okay.
that I could then send out to record labels and things of that nature and try and get signed. So that was something I dabbled in as well too.
Oh, wow.
It's so interesting. Like, the music industry has just changed so much, in the sense that you kind of have to make it for yourself now these days. Like, it's not what it used to be in, the 70s, 80s, even 90s, where they'd find talent, they'd sign them, they'd do all the work.
Yeah.
Now it's do the work, build your own following, and then we'll sign you, to the point where it's like, do I even need to be signed at this point? Like, I've done everything for myself. And but that was great. That was great experience with, with other songwriters in Canada. Again, there's just so much talent here. And so, yeah, I'm always sort of dabbling in one thing or another of that nature. So, because you never know where your break is going to come. And so you just got to keep doing it, and not necessarily to make it. You have to do it because you enjoy it.
That's right.
And, and like, what is your why? And for me, my why is, if I can, even just for a second and a moment in life, make someone feel, or not feel, I should say, sadness, depression, anger, hopelessness, whether it's because my music touches them in a certain way or it's just fun, then that's a beautiful gift to bring to the world.
Wow.
And for me, that's why I do it. So. Wow,
geez, you just, I like what you just said. And I had something to ask, and it's kind of like our conversation is just flowing, because now I'm gonna ask you this now. So I seen a couple posts on your Instagram, right? One was from Gandhi. So be the change that you wish to see in the world. And then I seen another post: no matter what people think of you, always keep singing your song. So I feel like you have this natural, innate need to inspire others. And you want to keep people thinking positive. So I don't know if that's a good take on how you feel about things. You can expand on it, but I feel like you do it through song or even a social media post. So
yeah, I'm so that's so sweet that you recognize that, because I feel like most of what is on social media is, there's a lot of noise.
Right.
There's people posting, what they ate that day, which is okay, which is fine. You got to keep it light, and keep a variety of things. Or, sadly, there's a lot of hate and what people are angry about. But I like to post what feels good, and to inspire kindness in the world, because that's the only way that the world's going to change. And I'm sure you've seen multiple posts that include Wonder Woman, because
yes,
everyone who knows me knows I love Wonder Woman. But it's more about what she represents, and it's about being a hero just because she's okay being vulnerable. She's okay leading with kindness and not through force, and not through violence. And but when the movie first came out, I remember seeing this beautiful actress, and oh my gosh, they chose the perfect person for the role, because not only is Gal Gadot, let me say her name properly, beautiful on the outside, but I think she really embodies what Wonder Woman really is. And I remember watching the movie and just being in awe of this character they've put on the screen. We've seen so many male superheroes for as long as I can remember, but to see such a powerful woman who doesn't lead through force, that she's able to be a kind leader, that really inspired me. And I think just because of the fact that I went through a lot of hardship in my childhood. I know we've all got stories, but I think for me in particular, there were tough times in my life as a child where I can say I didn't really get to live a proper childhood. And I think that is what has led me to a place where if I can help prevent someone feeling those things, I will do that, because I know how bad some of that can get, and how that leaves you feeling inside. And so I think because of hardship, I want to have fun in my life. I just want there to be joy. I want there to be kindness and love, and I don't want anyone else to experience what I experienced in those early years of my life too. So
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Okay. You know what I'm going to ask now, right? Because you have a beautiful voice. So,
oh man,
I want to know if you can belt something out for us,
oh my
a
goodness.
cappella.
Let me get the right key here. Well, I talked about it earlier, so I might as well sing the song that has inspired, me in my musical journey. Mariah Carey. I think everyone knows this song. All right, I guess I'll just do it.
All right.
It's just gonna be a quick acapella.
No worries. Let's do this.
There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you'll reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you.
Wow.
I hope it wasn't too loud. I can get loud.
That was perfect.
I hope it was not too distorted, but there you go.
That was perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow. Okay, let me get my bearings. Hold on. Okay, you know what I used to ask people and I stopped asking, but I think, I interviewed Nicole Holmes from a Netflix series, Marriage or Mortgage, I believe it's called.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, oh, you put me on the spot. But I want to see if you can answer this, because sometimes I need to hear words of inspiration from other people to just keep me going. So I used to ask my guests a lot, do you have any words of inspiration for someone who's on that breaking point where they want to give up on their dreams? And sometimes it just takes them to hear something that will just spark it in them again to like keep going and not give up. So I've had some great people share some great things, but I don't know because you know we've all been there. You probably had your points too, but
Yeah.
let us know if you have any words of inspiration for anyone.
Someone said this to me, a very dear friend of mine, um, when whenever I just didn't believe in myself. I think specifically when it comes to music, there's many times in my life, and I think maybe only recently did I truly start to really believe in myself. I would just compare. I would compare myself to other singers out there. I would take the fact that maybe because I didn't make it in Canadian Idol, like, gosh, I'm just not good enough. My music is out there. How come no one has recognized me yet? How come no one has signed me yet? I must not be good enough. And then when you compare yourself to artists who are just amazing at their craft and what they do, like Ariana Grande, and you take, Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston and even Bruno Mars, it's easy to think, yeah, I'm not at that level. And someone said to me, listen, you're the only version of you on this earth. There's no other Amanda Edwards. People may have that name, but what you bring to your craft is only you. And they had me talk about my why and why I sing and why I do what I do and why I enjoy it so much. And that why I realize, is such a powerful thing that only I bring as an artist. And you know what? Damn, I have a good voice. I have a good voice. And it may not be the best voice in the world, but what is the best voice in the world? Music is so subjective. Music is meant to, it's meant to do many different things, but it touches our hearts. And that's a very subjective thing. And I realize that the more that I sing with emotion and with my why, that comes out in my music. And then there's times where, just like it happened at the beginning of our talk today, where you say that my music has touched you, when you get that feedback from people and you realize you are touching lives, you don't have to be the best singer in the world. Like, you are you're unique. And to be able to bring that gift, even if it's just to one person, is a beautiful thing. And so do it for that reason, do it because of your why.
Oh man, I like that. Yeah, I'm always hearing new things, and I don't think I've heard that before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, do it because of your
That
why.
makes
I've never heard that before. Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Amanda, you know what now, right? This is great. For everyone listening or watching, this is my last episode of season 4 with Amanda Edwards. Um I do this to give back to charities. So what I do for season 4 is ask my guests, is there a charity, a GoFundMe, anything they want me to donate to? So what did you have in mind for episode 11, season 4?
First of all, I'm so privileged to be the last episode for season 4. Congrats on 4 seasons. That's amazing. Many
Thank
more
you.
to come, I'm sure. So yes, I'm a big animal lover.
Okay.
I guess I'm just passionate about trying to be there for those who can't stand up for themselves. And I feel like animals have such a they can't speak to us, they don't have that communication. And so my heart goes out to them, especially ones who are in shelters and who are trying to find homes. And so the Toronto Humane Society is an organization where I feel can always use some help. And so I've chosen them for this episode today. And I think it's amazing that you do that for each of your guests. It's such a fantastic thing. And so, yeah, it would be Toronto Humane Society.
Amazing. All right. Mark that down.
Mark it down.
Star Scorpio will be donating to Toronto Humane Society. Before we go, this is the point in the interview where I have 2 cards in my hand, right?
Oh, okay.
And you're going to answer one of them. I'm going to mix it up. People be choosing the same one, even though it's a different interview. But let me see if it makes a difference. Okay. You're going to tell me which one you want me to read out, my right hand or my left hand.
Ooh, I'm actually going to go against what I would usually say. I'm going to go left hand.
Left. Oh, wow. Okay. What is one of the most memorable moments of your life?
I mean, that Backstreet Boys story is that's up there. You know what I mean? Um, I have a good one though. So I'm someone who always likes to grow as a person. I want to be a better person today than I was yesterday. And I want to be a better person tomorrow than I was today. You know, a better friend, daughter, companion, employee, everything. And so I'm always looking at what's the next step in my growth. And I went to New York. This was 4 years ago. And I took a course. There was a personal development program. Really, it was a leadership program. And it changed my life forever. And I can't really tell you about it because, you know, you're supposed to experience it authentically. It's a beautiful program.
Okay.
And there were just moments in it where people saw me for me and in a way that I didn't see myself. Like I always felt like I have to prove myself. I have to be loud. I have to show that I'm worthy. I have to solve this equation or problem in order to be noticed or seen or heard. And it was a very, I don't want to say humbling experience because I feel like people use that word. It's a weird way that people use that word. It just touched my heart so much that I realized I don't have to do anything. You know, people are just seeing me for who I am, you know, and I realized that really who we are, it's like a neon sign on our forehead. Like you really don't have to do anything to show who you are. Just be who you are. People see it. People get it.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was that moment I remember specifically. I just felt like, gosh, I don't have to work so hard. I don't have to, you know, like that who I am intrinsically and who my parents have taught me to be just by example because they're wonderful people.
Yeah.
It comes through. It really comes through. And if you're just a good person, people see it. And you don't have to work that hard. And if it comes from your heart, people can feel your heart.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. So it was enlightening too, right? If you don't want to use that, it was enlightening.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Any final words? And also share your social media, even though you already shared it earlier on, share it again where people can find you. And if you have any final things to say, let me know before we end it.
Absolutely. So my Instagram is at Amanda Edwards Music. And I post a lot of videos there. I'm playing piano a lot of the time and singing, or I'll do fun little cover songs or stories on the weekend because you got to keep it funny and light too, because I'm a big goofball as well. And I like to have fun. So Instagram is the place where I'm the most social. And then YouTube for some videos. You could just type in Amanda Edwards and Dreams. You'll find some of my music there. And then Spotify. So I have my 4 singles on Spotify. And I'll be adding new music to on there shortly as well too, because I'm writing and recording right now. So I would say those 3 are the top few places you can find me.
Perfect. All right. This is season 4, episode 11 with Amanda Edwards. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you so much. This has been so much fun, and we got to do hot wings. Hot ones challenge next. Hot ones. Right. Again, just make sure Sean Evans is okay with that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Shout out to Sean Evans.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Real Talk with Star Scorpio, and we out.